Good evening to you. Welcome to this Pisces Academy Mentorship Program session for today, where we are discussing about fingerlings, stocking, and early growth. That's a very interesting one that we are discussing today, and I want you to know that there is something you can do that will make your fish grow very quickly, that will quicken the process of your fish growth. And coupled with what we discussed yesterday about fast growth and many profits, many more profits, bigger profits. Yesterday we spent almost 2 hours yesterday discussing feeding for fast growth and feeding for better profit. Today I'm going to challenge one assumption that many of you must have formed, and the reason is because what we are discussing today is a very important thing that every fish farmer must take into consideration if you really want your fish to grow very fast, and if you really want to have big profits. The average farmer may actually not be making profits. The way to prove it is to ask them for the records. So that's where you know, because the many other farmers have some cash flow coming in, maybe from their other jobs, from their 9 to 5, or from their um family business, or from their civil servant job. So because they are not keeping record, they don't know that they are actually really not making profit. Some people have good support from friends and well wishers, yeah, and then they do not know because they are not keeping record. They don't know. So when that money comes, they easy to buy feed and they don't know. But today I'm going to be showing you something very interesting, and when you understand it and you add today's information with the things we discussed yesterday, you're going to have very good growth in your fish farm, and you are going to make good and better profits. I want to welcome you all to this session today. Let me officially welcome you. I see many chats coming already. Good to see you, Emmanuel. Happy Sunday to you too. Good to see you, Patrick Chimieze. Good to see you, Dr. Ijovi. Good to see everyone. Good afternoon. Good to see you, Akinpelu Oreoluwa. Good to see you all. This is going to be an amazing session today. This is going to be an amazing session. I want you to stay put and be just like yesterday. I won't be rushing. I won't be rushing. I'll be taking time so that everything will sink in. Today, what we want to discuss is one of the most important aspects of fish farming. It's the aspect that even those that understand some nitty-gritties miss. So it's easy for some people to focus on areas like water management, areas like feeding. But when we talk about fingerlings in grow-out production now, it's like a one-off thing. For a particular cycle, you don't need to stock more than once. So because of that, it's not an aspect that many people pay attention to. But can I tell you something today? If we were to rank it, oh my God, it comes even before feeding. I see a lot of people in the comments. Good to have you, Aisha Abdul Karim from Ghana. This is Pisces Academy Mentorship Program. I don't know if I saw you in the last session, Aisha Abdul Ghana. I'm not sure I saw you in our last session. But welcome, good to see you. Welcome, Mr. Namdi Marvelous from Agbo Delta State. Please, if you are just joining us, register your presence. Good to see you, Mr. Odson Kishia from Kenya, all the way from East Africa. Mr. Innocent Alfred from KB State, Nigeria. Oh, you were here yesterday. My apologies. Forgive me, all right? Good to have you here. I'm not sure I noticed you in the comments yesterday. So, but Yeah, good to see you, Chakabulas from KB. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Keep registering your presence. As you know, for the mentees, admin is taking our attendance, and we're going to have case studies. After today's session, we'll be dropping two um briefings, case study briefings. The briefing is so interesting. I want you all to participate, and I love how you do this in your breakout rooms. If you're not part of the mentorship, you may not understand what we are talking about, but just follow us and gone. But what to the PAMP mentees, we have your case study already. We will be dropping it today so that you begin to treat it immediately, because you will only have 5 days to, we only have Mondays to, submission is on Friday, and the case studies are two. We have one for feeding for fast growth and profit, and the second case study is on um, fingerlings, stocking, and early growth. They are so very much interesting. So very much interesting. Hi, hello to you too. Malatunde Oluwaseun. I want to ask by asking you a question today, and I want you to um bring it up in the comments. And the question is this: at what point does fish starts growing? And I want men response from this. So I'm talking about, we are considering grow out fish now. At what point does your fish begin to grow? I mean, we are doing grow out production. We want to do together now, we want to do a grow out production cycle. At what point does growth begins? Your fish, what point does it start growing? Please let me start seeing your comments. Glad to see you, Adetono Salem, all the way from Ogun State. Good to see you, Oluwaseun, from the brown roof city of Ibadan. Yeah, so I'm expecting your comments, everyone. I want to know at what point, the model I enjoy most when we talk is this facilitation model, when we discuss together. So I want to know your perspective. There's no wrong with it, all right? Let me know your perspective on what point does fish growth start? Okay, at what point? So I had to be intentional about saying there's no wrong. Let's have enough um comments on that. I've not seen any comments. I've not seen any comments. Good to see you, Cynthia Lalaze from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. I want to take, let me, so that I won't take so much time just in recognizing people. I welcome all the PAMP mentees all the way from Cameroon, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe. You're welcome to this session. At what point? At what point? Do you want us to round up this session immediately? Do you understand everything? At what point? There's something I want to bring out, really. And I need to, yeah. At what point does, good to see you, Boma. I think Boma is in the, no, not Abuja. Boma, where are you joining us from, Boma? Boma is from one of these countries. Let's know where you're joining us from. Remind me. And I have a question for you to begin with today. At what point does growth begin? Let's say we stock juveniles now. At what point do they begin to grow? Just simple answers. Bring it on. At what point do they begin to grow? At what point do fish begin to grow after you stock them? At what point do fish begin to grow after you stock them? I want to have responses. That's the basis of our discussion today. At what point? At what point does the growth begin? Maybe I'll start mentioning the names of those that are online so that you can start answering me. At what point does growth begins? The reason I'm saying this is because yesterday, one of the things we touched is one of the most important things. But I want to throw a challenge to you today. I want to challenge an assumption that many people outside there are formed. Can I say something? Because I saw many of the reviews from yesterday's teaching. I saw many of the reviews from yesterday's teaching. The reviews were that now some person says after yesterday, after that session, they are now sure and certain that whatever fish they grow will grow fast. And that's amazing. That's amazing. See, okay, Aisha Abdul Karim says 3 to 7 days after stocking. Amazing. Adeyemi Adewi says fish growth begins immediately you start feeding or they start eating. Amazing. That's it, you see. And these are one of the things, expectations. But I want to say something today. And that's why I began with this question. Yes, somebody says, thank you, James Solution says a week. Sometimes that's when you begin to see the difference in their size. What I want you to understand, you see, I began by saying I want to challenge some assumption that some people are formed. The real thing I want you to take today, and I want you to never forget. See, if you never forget this, it will change your perspective to fish farming and it will begin to affect the way you deal with it. Do you know what will happen in turn? It will affect the results you will get, it will affect your outcomes. And when I'm smiling like this, you know what I'm about to say. It will affect the profit you will make. What I'm trying to tell you is that the growth of a fish does not start when you begin to feed them. Yes, I said that. The growth of fish does not begin. See, okay, thank you, Salahuddin Abdullahi says the fish growth begins after they adapt to the environment. What we are doing today is a very interesting mind shift. Okay, I like the comments are coming in now. So another person says, Emmanuel says, 1 to 3 days. Fish are adapting to the new environment. Growth is minimal during this. After 3 to 7 days, if water quality is good and they are feeding well, they begin to convert feed into body tissue. I love that. You see, I hope everybody understand what Emmanuel just explains. Because that's when you begin to see the dividends of the effort you begin to make. So okay, I see another comment. Growth starts to become more consistent. Yes, I get that. So Bulus from KV State says fish begins to grow after a week. Please pay attention to all of these things. Pay attention to all of these things. Fish begins to grow after a week when the fish have started adapting with the new environment. By then, they are no more stressed. You see, this kind of looks like what Emmanuel just mentioned. Oladipupo Isaac says, okay, telling us where you're coming from. Good to have you. Another says, okay, good. Diary of a Farmer's Daughter says the growth begins after hatching. Good to see you, Mr. Michael from Kenya. Maxwell from Kenya. Maxwell Nganga from Kenya. Good to have you all here. Yes, the growth begins. You see, after hatching. In fact, if we are talking about the hatchery, the growth process already began the moment fertilization takes place. Before the fish began to hatch, growth process, development. You see, it's called development, but I refer to it as growth. But I don't want to touch that here. I don't want to touch the archery. That's why I gave a case study by saying we want, as a group, we want to grow a fish in grow out. That means we want to stock fingerlings or juveniles. We're now saying what stage does growth begins? And I love all of these comments. And I'm trying to give you a perspective that this perspective will, if you understand it, take it today and never forget it. It will shift how you begin to attend to your fish, and it will shift how you begin to the kind of results you will get. And more importantly for us at PAMP, and for the farmers and of generation we are raising, it will improve your profits. And I'm trying to tell you that the fast growth that we are all needing, that we require, does not start when you start feeding. It starts before you stock. In fact, it does not start when you stock your fish. That fast growth starts before you stock. The question will now be that how does growth begin before you start? And Mr. Taiwo, you are telling me that we should consider grow out. Am I speaking your mind, anybody? Because I said we are not considering the hatchery, we are considering the grow out. The truth is that it depends on the kind of decisions you make before feeding starts. Before feeding starts, there are some decisions. So it means that I'm shifting your mindset to focus so importantly on the decisions you will be making before you stock your fish. The decision you will be making before you start feeding your fish. And what are these decisions? These decisions are about pond preparation. You see, and I tell you, I start if you were here within the first 2-3 minutes of the call of this conversation, I started by saying that there are some activities that are recurring, just like water change, feeding, because they are recurring every time. Those are the activities that many fish farmers try to pay attention to, because they happen every day, so they want to master it. See, we even discussed yesterday on feeding for fast growth and feeding for profits. But what if I told you that if you get feeding and if you get fingerlings wrong, if you get pond preparation wrong, if you get stocking wrong, if you get the um early growth stage, if you get it wrong, that feeding will not hold water. I'm not trying to pull out the big things we discussed yesterday, but those big and important things we established yesterday are only important if you get stocking right. If the decisions you have made before stocking is powerful, high. But if you can get these things right and you now get the feeding that we discussed yesterday right, you have already set yourself for profit. But the foundation is good quality fingerlings. The foundation is good pond preparation. The foundation is they are the things you do at the early stage. And I'm going to mention these things. You see, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to show you first, and we'll be unpacking them one after the other. That's why I said I won't be rushing. I'll be unpacking them one after the other. The session today, coupled with yesterday's session, if you get it, you already set yourself for progress, big profits in fish farming. And what we are discussing today is the foundation. And I would quickly want to give you an illustration. I don't know, yesterday I had an engineer friend on the live. I don't know if he's here today. I had an engineer friend from Lagos. Engineer, when they construct, regardless of how beautiful the structure is, regardless of how beautiful the template is, and whatever they want to construct, if there is an issue with this foundation, do you know that the old building does not matter anymore? In the case of fish farming, our foundation is what you do around stocking. And today, I want to give you a very different definition to stocking. I want to give you a different definition to stocking. And what this definition will help you do is that it will shaping how your production cycle will go. It will affect your outcome and it will affect your profits. Because what people understand as stocking is the process by which you introduce fish in your pond. I've come with another narration today. Yes. Good to see you, Esther. Good to have you here. There is good to see you, Mrs. Good to have you. Good to have you, Mr. Abdurrah Hoof from Nigeria. Good to have you here. See, I've brought, you see, what I came to tell you today is something entirely different. And I just don't want you to embrace it just like that. Yes, be open minded, but embrace it with understanding. Because when you understand it truly, trust me, that's the key. This is one of the secrets. This is one of the secrets. I'm trying to say that what we need to focus on is not only that process of putting fish into your pond. There are many things, and I'll be showing you everything. There are many things, but you first need to understand that even the best feeding programs, even the best feeding regimen, even the best, if you follow routines are good, and we touch on all of these things, but there are some other layers. If you get poor quality fingerlings, I'm going to show you how to get it. If your stocking process is wrong, not complete, all of the other things you do may not meet it again. You see, I'm taking time to put this foundation so that when I begin to mention all of the other things, you will pay attention to them. I'm saying that there are some mistakes that can happen from the beginning while stocking, or before stocking, or even after stocking. Even after 3 months, 4 months, you can the fish may not die, but you may not be able to correct them again. I'm saying that there are errors that can begin, and after stocking, you may not correct that issue again. There are things that you say feeding now, or water change, or good management practices cannot correct a genetic problem. It cannot correct some of the mistakes that happened during stocking. Yes, because they are permanent mistakes. They become permanent problems, and they carry it throughout the cycle. Do you know what it does? It affects it affects, sometimes it delayed harvest, sometimes it reduces how fast the fish will grow, and guess what will now happen? You don't get more profit again, and that's what we don't want. So what's this definition of um yes, good to have you, Opai from Lagos. What am I emphasizing on? My perspective of stocking that I want you to always embrace is the process of all of the things that happen before you stock, all of the decisions you make, the process of all of the things that happen prior to stocking, the process of all of the activities and the things you do during stocking, and the things you do after stocking. For the first, you see, the first few hours matters a lot. And the the first few weeks after you stocking also matter. What I'm trying to tell you is that stocking is no longer the moment you are introducing fish. It's about what happens before you stock and the first few weeks of your stocking. That stage is very, very critical. If you get this perspective, let me know in the comment so that we begin to dive into all of these deep realities. You see, this session today is an eye opener for so many people. So many of you, there are some things you know, but only because we have not dived into deeper depths. That's what we'll be doing today. That's what we'll be doing today. I'm expecting your a comment in the chat. Yes, I'm trying to tell you that before your fish enter into the pond, there are decisions that you will make that affects your fish, that affects the money that you will make. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I see. I get. I love that. I love that. I love that. I see. I get. I got it. Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Do you know why this is important? Because mm, farmers would, it's easy for farmers to blame uh bad feed. It's easy for farmers to blame bad water. It's easy for farmer to blame the weather condition, to say that the reason I didn't get good results is because I think that feed is bad. I think maybe the feed they sold to me at this period was bad. I think because of the weather. But with the kind of things, series of lectures we'll be having at PAMP, you'll be able to know that no, this is not the case, this is the case, this is not the case, this is the case. All right. I love that analogy I gave earlier when I said construction. Talk about a house, a building is beautiful, you see it on paper, or even after they finish building the house was very beautiful, very amazing mansion. But if there was an error in the foundation, do you know that that house does not really, all of those things we are seeing does not really matter? Yes, if the foundation be destroyed, the righteous cannot do anything. Yeah. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The righteous is stranded. The righteous is stranded. What am I trying to say? In the world of fish farming and in the world of aquaculture, the foundation period the foundation is a period. Good. I I didn't think about saying that. The foundation is a period. The foundation is not an event, is not a particular, it's not a particular event like the process of putting the of introducing your juveniles or your fingerling in the pond. That's not the foundation. The foundation is the decisions you have made, all of the findings you have made, all of the process and activities. While you are, I'm going to touch on some things because there are a lot of things wrong with how people transport fish. Yes, the process while you are transporting the fish, and they don't know that it end up affects the growth of their fish and how much money they are making or how much more money they should have made. Yes, I'm trying to challenge you. You see, I'm taking enough time to put all of this into consideration to let you understand the basis of this. I want you to understand that there is a critical period for your fish, and those critical period is the condition, is the foundation, and that foundation begin from the decision you make before you even buy your fish seeds, your fingerlings and juvenile. Even after you paid for it, the process of bringing it, the things you do, we're going to touch all of those things, what you should do, how you should do them, the kind, how to make some decisions. You can decide not to buy a fish at certain points. Yes, farmers that we've been discussing on, and some of them, I love many of these farmers. We discuss and we try to relate, and they say that in some cases, I'm going to follow your advice, and they follow it and they come back to review, they come back to testify. Yes, that thank you for saving me from this. If I had done this would have happened. I saw that when I did this happened, this happened, this happened. And these are the things I want to be giving to you freely today. I'm telling you, these are not something that anybody just sat and come up with, just without solid backup research, backup experience, backup results and outcomes. Okay, okay. So I want to start from. Should I start from where you should buy? Should I start from where you should buy? No, let's start from what you should buy. Yes, because when you know what you should buy, you can even decide where to buy yourself. If you are following me, say I'm following. Mr. Enoch from Ghana, good to have you. I also didn't see you in the engagement yesterday, but glad to have you here, Mr. Enoch from Ghana. Mr. Festus Adeniyi, good to have you. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. I'm following. Good to have you. Good to hear that. Leonard, marvelous. Josephine, good to have you. Good to have you. See, I like to hear that so that I know we're on the same page. I know we're on the same page. Yes, 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 yes. Good. I have enough. Good. Good to know you're following. Now, I can calm down to keep going and not think that I'm talking to those who are not concentrating. Okay. So, what are the things you need to look out for? Or even Mr. Francis Kayode from Ikorodu. Good to see you, Mr. Francis Olopade. Good to have you here. You see, these are farmers. These are practicing farmers. And you see, many of the things that we are touching, all of you that you are farmers, you can relate with what we are saying. You can relate. You can relate. In fact, after all of the sessions, I know how we used to talk about many things about the things we have been talking about. And that's good. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. We want to build a generations of farmers that are doing things the best way. Wow, Mr. Festus Adeniyi is following from Badagry. I hope you know that Badagry is so special to me. Good to have you here, Mr. Festus Adeniyi. Yeah, Mr. Kisha from Kenya. I think I'll start mentioning names so that I'll focus um on what we are discussing. So we are talking about um what to look out for. What to look out for on feelings. And it's also important that I will touch the part of how to prepare your pond. You see, because your pond must be ready first. So let's talk about what to look out for. The first thing I want to mention is, you see, those some people who know me here, when you hear something I say, you know that I'm used to those things. When you begin to get used to those are the things that will that guide your principles. And what I'm about to say is that fish talk. You know that I'm talking to you, you are hearing me now. But fish don't talk. Fish don't speak like this. But guess what? Fish talk. The first thing okay, this is not the first thing, this is like the second thing. The first thing I wanted you to know that I have established is the stocking. This stocking is a is not a particular event where you put fish in your pond. Is a series of a window, a period that includes the decision you make before you stock, while you stock, all of the activities involved, and even after few weeks after you stock. That's the stocking window. The first thing. The second thing I'm trying to establish to you today is that fish talk, fish communicates, fish communicates. Please pay attention to this and don't ever forget. The only thing is that fish does not speak. I'm speaking English to you. I'm speaking English. Those of you tell me your dialect. In Nigeria, there are several dialects. There is Yoruba, there's Igbo, there's Hausa, and there are many more dialects. So I may not understand all. If another person is speaking Spanish to me now, I don't understand Spanish. He is speaking, but he is not communicating. So because fish is not speaking your language does not mean they are not communicating. As a matter of fact, the fish is talking to you. You may not hear because you don't understand the language of fish. I want to put something down. Yes, you may not understand because, give me a second, I need to put something down. Yes, you may not understand because you don't understand the language of fish. Because if you speak Spanish to me, I don't understand Spanish. That person is talking to me, but I'm not understanding because I don't understand that language. So you have to first know that fish talk. So, but there is a difference between fish talking or fish communicating. How do we now move from the level of fish talking to your fish communicating? You have to understand the language of your fish. When you understand the language of your fish, then your fish can communicate with you. Good evening, Mr. Bakar Hassan Mohammed from Kano. Good to have you. Yes, Olare Deborah, good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Your consistency is top notch. And like just like many other persons. All right. I won't deviate again. I won't deviate again. I'm saying that fish has a language. The same way I'm talking to you, your fish can talk to you. But if you don't understand the language of fish, you may not. You may think that your fish is not talking to you. But guess what? The people who understand the language of fish, they can communicate with their fish and their fish can communicate with them. Yeah, their fish can communicate with them. You see, all of us here now, all of us here now, you see, some good. I love this example I'm about to give. Can you imagine? Just imagine that there's somebody who is on our official community who needs this information we are saying, or who does not have a good network and is unable to access this live session that we are taking right now. Or if you are watching this video later, that person is not available to watch this video, maybe due to their network. Does it mean that this video is not available? Does it mean that we are not live? We are live. We are talking. I can talk, you can hear me. But that person could not communicate based on one reason. You see, that person is not tuning in. So if sometimes, even if you understand the language of fish and you are not tuning in, you will not hear what the fish is saying. And this one that I just explained is observation. I will get there. But I like that it came now. So you see, I think it's okay. It's okay to dive into things. And if you have any question in the middle of all this, as long as it relates with what we are discussing today, bring it on. You see, if your question was about yesterday, I won't attend to it today. Actually, we still have the replay of the session. It's still available. It's temporarily available. So take advantage of the window to digest all. Some of you have watched it. You need to watch again and watch again. Yes. Some persons, I think, okay, let me not say it, but I think some people download so that they can even watch it offline. So, but it's okay. It's okay. Take advantage of the window, watch, rewatch, and understand. Okay. Okay. Good to have you, Joy Machaya. Good to have you, IBK Fatima. Good to have you. Good to have you, Uche Hennes from Plateau State. Good to have you, everyone. Everyone. So your fish communicates with you. But how? So I want to begin to show you the signs. The first way and the most important way that your fish will talk to you is in their activity. They will talk to you in the way they move. See, me for instance, when I see fish, I understand what they are saying. And that's why I want you to understand the language of fish. I want you to understand. You see, and the way to understand it is to if you cannot observe, you are not ready to understand it. The moment you master it, you don't need to actively stress yourself to hear them. The same way you don't need to actively stress yourself to hear what I'm saying. And you can hear it. Not only can you hear me, you can understand and comprehend what I'm saying easily without focusing too much. Just by listening, you can hear me. The same way, just by looking at your fish, the moment you gain ground, you master it. You can just look into a fish tank, into a fish pond, into an earthen pond, and you hear what these fish are saying. And immediately you say, oh, let's do this. This is happening. This is happening. Yes, because they are speaking to you. And there are things you can do, and you speak to fish, you will see their response. You will see what they are doing, that, oh, they are responding. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about movements. The way your fish will communicate to you is how they move in water. Yeah, I'm seeing those reactions. Let them keep coming. By the way, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do that right away. Please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the button. Everybody on this chat, on this live session, hit the like button. This video right now, hit the like button. Yes. Aisha Abdul Karim from Ghana says, I can't wait to get to that level. You're on your way to that level. That's it. That's why we're having this. The level at which you you can you can discern that this is happening. I mean, you may not need to attach spiritual meaning to discern that, but you can really discern now. And if you attach spiritual meaning, is good. Be able to discern that this is what this fish is saying. Yeah, this is what this fish is saying. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I have some persons here who already know how to do that. IBK, say hi. Say hi. So, and it's about movement. You see, I'm emphasizing on movement. There's a way your fish will move that it will begin to tell you some things. There's a way your fish, if your fish are acting slowly, they're actually telling you something. Yes. And there are signs you will see on the body of your fish. They are telling you something. Many of these things will be touching. I will be touching all of that as long as there is enough time, and I believe there's still time. There is time, and we will not really exceed our time today. Movements, how they move. Are they moving fastly? Is there erratic movement? Is there slow movement? Because slow movement shows that they may be sick. When your fish are slow, they may be sick. Are they moving actively? It is a sign. That's one of the signs that they have sound health. They have sound mind. They are moving actively. They are moving actively. Your fish has a bright appearance. You know, you see some juveniles, they are dull. They are dull. They look dull. They don't look active. There's no vibe. Yes. And one other thing is something like deformities. I see all the reactions coming. Somebody is giving me the flowers. I take the flowers. Thank you, Deborah. I receive the flowers. I take the flowers. Keep them coming. Give me my flowers. All right. All right. All right. Yes. Yes. Appearance says a lot about fish. Appearance says a lot. So that's I'm telling you how to understand the language of fish now. They are telling you that I'm not really. I have some will tell you that I have a sound health, but I don't have a sound mind. How did they tell you they don't have it? They are sluggish. The sluggishness is telling you something. And there are some other things you need to pay attention to, which are their parts, the parts of the body of a fish. Places like the fin of a fish. When I say the fin, you know there are many fins. We have the dorsal fin, we have the pelvic fin, you know, we have the caudal fin, the tail fin. So let me not be using terms, because so that anybody can understand what I'm saying. The upper fin, the lower fin, the waist fin, the neck fin, the tail fin. You pay attention to those places. You pay attention to the head of the fish. You pay attention to the fish. You pay attention to, I say, the parts. They are barbels. See, many people don't know this one. Take it as an important information. One of the best ways to easily, quickly understand the clinical signs of infection is when the barbels of your fish are started to cough backwards. That's See, if you see that kind of sign, that's not a fish you should stock on your farm. Don't ever forget this. Don't Many people, they don't know they have done this, but after a while they realize that the fish were feeding, they were growing well, they were doing every other things right, because some people understand, because they've been doing it for a while. They have learned by experience, and based on that experience they have been able to do several things, and by the time they are able to see by observation that, oh, when I did this I got this result, when I did this I got this result, so they know the things that are working, so they be able to learn those things. But they made some mistakes at the point of stocking, because the mistakes, if you make this kind of very huge mistakes at the point of stocking, guess what happens? Can I tell you what will happen? What happens is that you may mistakes cannot be corrected again. They are permanent damages. Can somebody put in the chat, say permanent damages? Sometimes when you write it out, you will never forget it. Put it in the chat. Say permanent damages. Permanent damages. I want to see everyone put it in the chat. Permanent damages. There are damages you can make if, in fact, if the things you should make your decision on are all we talk about today, I'm satisfied. Because if you know how to make decision on how to get good quality, on how to prepare for your pond, and how to decide what to do during your stocking process, and even for the first 2 to 3 weeks after stocking, that has done a lot of progress for you already. Yes, I see. Yes, I see everybody putting it in the comment. Permanent damages. There are permanent damages in catfish farming. This is one other thing you should never forget. There are permanent damages that no matter what you do, you cannot correct it till the end of that production cycle. You can only try to make sure there are no more complications, but there are permanent damages. Yes, there are permanent damages. There are permanent damages. So, if your fish has excessive mucus, I mean, you visit a hatchery and you want to buy, and you see that there is excessive mucus. You know, mucus is one of the things that protects the layers of the fish. Is actually a protective layer in the body of the fish. And one of the things that mucus do, that slime, what I mean by mucus is the slime on the body of fish like catfish, even what scale does in fish like tilapia, does it in fish like catfish. They protect the the fish from some kind of bacteria. So just because of the presence of that slime or that smoke, there are some infections that will not affect that fish. There is like a gateway to some kind of bacteria. So it's a protective mechanism that God in his infinite mercy puts in the body of fish. If you now see that these juveniles of fish, they have excessive mucus, the fish is telling you that something is already wrong with my health system. They have tampered, something has tampered with my physiological balance. I'm no more stable. I'm not in the situation where you should stock me. I need to be admitted in an intensive care unit. Meanwhile, a farmer who wants to stock his fish, that pond is not an intensive care unit. No, intensive care unit is the place where you isolate fish and give them proper treatment. If you grow your fish for growth and for profit, your pond is not an intensive care unit. But the farmer that does not hear that, or an archery attendant, or a archery supervisor, or a fish farm manager that does not understand that language, may not even hear that. Is okay. He may hear that the fish is talking, is speaking, but may not hear what the fish is communicating. Another one is swollen abdomen. So let's say in a in a very large stock of fish, you see one fish that has swollen abdomen. That's not an issue. But you now see majority or a large percentage, even 20% or 10% of the population having swollen abdomen. The fish is telling you something. Don't overlook it. See, when you see any unusual sign, begin to pay attention. Begin to look. Pay attention now. Come back in the next 1 hour or 2 hours. Come back in the next 3 hours. See anything you notice. Because some of the things that, and this is very common with farmers, we think that, okay, I'm noticing, I'm observing. You don't write them down. Anything you observe, write it down. Anything you observe, write it down. That's how you get the details. Yes, these are the secrets. Anything you observe, write it down, because some things you begin to give excuses to them until you see them recall again, and we forget things. But the ones we write down, we can't forget, especially when you check them over and over again. Yes. So another thing is unusual discoloration. The color of this fish, look at everything. This is a typical, I don't want to give a color because some of the common species of fish we have, they have varying colors. They have varying colors. You see black, you see, you see Dutch color, you see mixed color. But what you look at is the typical color of that fish, or of your fish stock, or of the fish species. If you now see an unusual coloration, a coloration that is not usual, or you see a discoloration, you see this is the color of the fish, but at particular parts the color fades off, and it does not happen for one fish. You notice it in this fish, that fish, in a particular tank. You are seeing it in a number of fishes. You need to pay attention. That fish is telling you that I have been infected. That's what the fish is communicating. But a farmer that does not hear, some people may not even think, they may think, that's the color, since this one is like that. Or they will say, I've seen situations that a grower supervisor say, these ones, they are albinos. And I saw the fish, I say, this is infection. He says they are albino. I say, no, something is already wrong. Let's begin treatment. I told them, let's begin treatment. It was already late that day. They could not get medications already. So I told them, let's get medications tomorrow. And let's get medications tomorrow first thing. Do you know that while they arrived the farm the following morning, the symptoms had increased, mortality had begun. So for you that you are mastering the way to understand the language of fish, if you understand these things we are talking about and discussing now, you would have identified some things before real problem begins. Because really there are some kind of fish that should not be on your farm. They will waste some time. Some of them will give you mental stress. Uh, just imagine someone who is doing fish farming, is doing fish farming as maybe who is in their 60s, 70s, and is enjoying. Fish farming, when you feed the fish, it's therapeutic, and you're enjoying all of that. And somebody's stage after stocking your fish, you are now having the issue of wanting to treat, and that thing can be mentally, because this is money. You wanted to derive enjoyment for it and make money, but in the process you're now treating. So that's not what we signed up for. That's not what we signed up for. Yes, I love how the reactions are coming, honestly. I love how the reactions are coming. Yes. Another thing is, we call them ulcers or hemorrhages, or you see something like injuries on the body of the fish. You see it in a particular place, in a particular, what can I use as example? This is a fish. This is a fish. This is a fish. On this particular point, there is a stain of blood on this fish. This is a fish now. Or let me try to put a shape of fish. Now, this is a fish. On this particular spot, there is a blood stain there. Just like a dot. It may not be very conspicuous. Some people that one may not even see. Sometimes it may be big, sometimes it may not. But this is the way it starts. It starts with tiny things that some people may not notice. You just saw a very tiny blood stain, but you notice that you observe, you saw it in the body of another fish at that same spot. For another fish, you saw it then something is happening already. Because an for a disease to invade a stock of fish, it will not happen once. It will not happen once. You see, I don't only want to tell you these signs, I want to show you how it happens, so that the goal is not for you to just know the signs and treat them as a formula. The goal is for you to understand them so that you too can understand the language of fish. So, what am I trying to explain? Pay attention. That's why if you see that a fish that dies as a result of disease will not wipe off immediately, you would have been seeing signs, because the bacteria in this case needs to grow. Bacteria will not kill fish immediately. That bacteria has to grow. There is a developmental stage that the bacteria, you will not see it, but there's a developmental stage that the bacteria has to undergo before the effect will start to become visible on the fish. It will grow before it starts affecting the fish. That's one of the ways we detect the issues on the farm. Somebody is having mortality, nothing happened, no signs, it just have mortality. No, we can rule out that no, this is not disease based on these things I'm explaining to you. So if there is a way to sharpen your discernment in fish farming, this is it. These are the things you begin to pay attention to. You notice this sign on this fish and that fish and that fish. You begin to know. So that period that is not becoming very visible, it's only because maybe that cycle of gestation period or development of the bacteria had just been completed, or is just beginning to be completed, or is still in process. Meanwhile, if you're able to identify those things and you observe them at those points, any medication you do will easily sort your fish and you will not even have issue. I'm telling you, there are issues of disease that we have seen in fish farming, and we treat them, we do not lose even up to 2% of the stock. Why? You can that can only happen if you identify early. I've also seen mortality that wipe off 50% of the stock. I've seen mortality that wipe up 80% of the stock. I've seen mortality that wipe off 100% of the stock. When I mean 100% of the stock, you may have a few left. You may have five few fishes. Those five one will not die. In fact, nothing on this earth may kill them again. No disease may kill them again unless you eat them. So we have seen a number of things. But what's the um interesting thing, and the things you should pay attention to here, is these signs, these signs, these signs, these signs. When you see those signs, for you that want to stock a fish, if you are, see, in fact, this session, you see, is also important for archery, those that have archery, those that are archery attendants, those that are archery supervisors, those that are archery managers, farm managers, everybody, 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 everybody. And another thing is that a fish that is healthy will always have a balanced body. You see, you will see some juveniles, you will know that no, this is a healthy juvenile because it has a balanced body. It's symmetrically balanced. It's not deformed. If you see fish that are deformed, it's not your good. That's not the fish you want to stock. Healthy fins, you see. So you see some, their fins are eating up already. So farmers that don't have this experience may not know yet. They may think that it's cannibalism that is happening. You see, some of you, what I'm saying, you can you can um identify with what I'm saying. You can relate with what I'm saying. You would have seen that a particular fish has a kind of injury on the fins, or even blood stains, hemorrhages, ulceration on the body. You feel like maybe they are attacking themselves. You say the fish are aggressive. Until after 3-4 days later, you realize that something else is already going on here. All of them are beginning to have that thing, and now they are now dying. You see, these are the things you should pay attention to. Good to see you, Atoye. Atoye Bioyetunde, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see Mr. Adewale Ashimi says, so let me quickly answer this question. Mr. Adewale is always in my DM. We discuss fish every now and then, voice notes here and there. It says, for someone that has one pond, how can they separate affected for treatment? You see, this is a very important thing. It's a very important. If you are isolating, now so you need to isolate, and you now have one pond, you may use bowls. You may use large bowls. You may use large bowls, but you want to ensure that whatever you are doing at that stage does not stress them. The water is not too small. The condition is not too small. If situation warrants, in cases of emergency, if you are treating large fish and you only have one pond, you may need, as an emergency strategy, to quickly get a plastic fish bowl tank, or maybe a cheap, some, I don't want to use the word cheap, so that you don't go and compromise cheap for quality, all right, or get something that will not really serve. But you may need to quickly get something that has enough space that can quickly serve you for that purpose. In some cases, large bowls will do. If you can manage it well, know when to quickly change the water, ensure that the medication is not causing on compounded damages. If you can manage it properly, but you need to isolate, you may isolate with large bowls, larger bowls, plastic tanks, wooden vats, tarpaulin ponds, tanks, and all of that. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the things you need to pay attention to. Those are the things. If you have questions, keep them coming in. And if you want to buy your fish and you get to visit or actually, or you want to sell to anybody, these are the things you should pay attention to. Don't sell fish that are not well balanced. Don't sell fish that are not responsive fast, that are not responding very fast. They should respond quickly. So if there are no activities, maybe you just cleaned your tank in the hatchery, maybe you just do some siphoning, or you just did some grading, some activity. If you kind of hit your tank, or you make some movements in your hatchery, the fish may not move because the activity has been recurring. But if in a hatchery that is noiseless, the hatchery has been calm for a while, if you enter the hatchery and you stomp your feet, maybe you hit the side of the pond, the fish are supposed to move quickly. They are supposed to respond to that shock. Let me call it shock. They are supposed to respond and move quickly. If you do that and your fish are not responding quickly, they are not moving fast, they are telling you that they are not in a good condition. Yes. So pay attention to this as an hatchery attendant, or even a farm owner. These are the things you should know too. All right, these are the things you should know, because some of you here, you have farms, you are farm owners, but you are not always on your farm. Some of you have farm managers who are capable, some of them who are still growing and are doing well, which is amazing. But these are the things that all of us on the chain, attendants, supervisors, managers, consultants, farm owners, investors, we have to have this information, so that we all will begin to have better profits, better careers, better businesses. Okay, so these are the things. Even as archery operators, you need to know this. You need to not only know, because some people know this, but they still end up selling bad quality fish. That's not good. And for all of us here, that's not the kind of breed or a generation of farmers that we are raising. That's not the kind of the breed of people we are raising. We are raising people with good integrity, people with good character, farmers who are very honest, farmers who are diligent, who knows their onions, who are, you want to make money, you don't want to cheat anyone. You don't want to allow anybody to cheat you, yes, but you don't want to cheat anyone too. Yes, that's the kind of breed you want to, on the long run. You have that integrity. You People can say you are reliable, and do you know what? That's reliability will give you money. You see, future farmer. That's what I'm saying. The aspiring farmers here too. And do you know what will take an aspiring farmer to be diligent with this kind of sessions? It means that that person, you see, you don't know if you're an aspiring farmer and you already have access to the kind of things that you have at PAM that you've been having. I think this is the 5th week, and we are still going to 12 weeks, and you are consistent with it. You have an upper hand to some farmers who have done it for many years, but they don't still know the real things. I'm telling you, it's like you have shortcuts already. You are not an average farmer. I'm telling you, the moment you start, you are no more average. If you have not started, maybe. But the moment you start with, because one of the biggest mistakes that many practicing farmers made, is that they started without having the right knowledge. Those of you here, it's a different case for you. You are starting with the good knowledge, and I'm so happy about that. You see, even me, there are some things I didn't know at some point. Yesterday, I told you about how even before I gained admission to study fisheries and aquaculture in the university, how my dad was farming fish and I was fully engaged. Myself and my siblings, we were engaged. And later I realized that, wow, if only I knew this, we would have made more money. We were catching fish even, and we were having failing attempts. Meanwhile, it was only once. If you know what was giving us issue, why? What am I trying to drive at? I'm not just trying to show you my experience. I'm trying to show you that there are these information that many of you are having. You don't know how big they are. They are very valuable informations. It is the person that have suffered from it that we know that, this thing, if you know what this, how much money we lost just because of this single information. And I see many of you here are very consistent and are doing well. I see the case study analysis. You guys are doing well, and we are still going to be having another case study. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I see the reactions. Keep it coming. We are glad to be here. We are glad to have you too. You see, can I tell you, yes, that the mentors in PAMP, they are proud of you. They are proud of you. They are proud of you. Yes. Let me just tell you that. But it's not, it's for the diligent ones, for the consistent ones. Okay. And just before I move further, I'm saying something in the comments. Let me attend to it so I don't forget. Fator Bob says, I used your lessons about getting common language with fish and ways they communicate with you to find ways to communicate with my brain so I could actually understand myself and do better things. I think I understand this, but I also think I need more explanation. I use your lessons about getting common language with fish and ways they communicate with you. Okay. To find ways to communicate with my brain so I could actually understand myself and do that. Okay, I think I get. That's actually deep. That's deep. So, if you are an archery attendant, you should be expecting these things, even though when you know these things, if there are issues, see, we sold um a fish sometimes. Was it sometimes last week? Oh, now last week I was, or 2 weeks ago now. I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was at Oasis Aquatic Farms. Many of you know our faculty lead. I was at the archery of Oasis Aquatic Farms. Please give me a second to bring up my lighting. Give me a second to bring on my lighting. All right. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I believe you can hear me. So I was at the archery of Oasis Aquarage, and we were to make some delivery because there are orders coming in. Do you know what happened? In a particular pond where there are good quality post juveniles, at the point of sales, we're moving two sets of fish. Can I tell you the two sets? The ones that are too big and the ones that are too small. They are not much, oh, they are not much, but they quickly remove them. Do you know why? Because if they add it to that order, they would have counted it and collected the money. But do you know it will cause an issue? That's why you should only buy from reliable source and reliable farmers, reliable, operators understand this. It's not everybody that want to sell for you because they are expecting you to make profits. They are only expecting themselves to make profits. But we are saying that's not the right approach. We are changing the narrative. And that's what everyone here should focus on. That's what everyone here should focus on. So I just gave you that narration. I can't be telling you everything that happens, but that's one of the things that you should. I said this because I want to emphasize on the point that you should get only from reliable sources. If you have a reliable source, always, because when you have a reliable source, you know too, you will see that the fish are doing so well. If you are not able to manage the feeding well, you'll be able to get good results. Good results. So those are the things. And you need to ask certain questions. How old are they? You can ask questions about pedigree if you understand that. The pedigree of this breed, what's the breed? Ask about the species, the parent stock. You can ask about the age of this parent stock. When you start asking certain questions, those people know that they can't just toy with you. They begin to consider to give you only good quality. When they don't have good quality and you ask them for fish, they may tell you they don't have, because they know you know what you are saying. And as an archery attendant, supervisor, or archery salesperson, when farmers ask you these questions, don't be offended. In fact, those that know what they are doing, they encourage farmers to ask these questions. I feel this pump is where we are making men in the industry. This is where we are making men. Yeah, glad to be. Yeah, I love how you are saying that. I love how you are saying that. That's it. That's it. And another important thing I want everyone to pay attention to is the transportation. Transportation. See, can I say, based on your distance now, and based on the distance of the fish, there's particular number of fish. I've seen somebody who sent catfish juveniles up to like 5,000 pieces in um up to 5,000 pieces catfish juveniles in a 50-liter jerry can. A 50-liter jerry can. That's, you see, that's overstocking. Yes, it's not stocking, but based on the definition of stocking that I gave you today, that's overstocking. Because stocking density does not only apply to fish pond or fish tank. Stocking density also takes play transportation. While you are transporting your fish, you have to take consideration of stocking density. If you put 5,000 pieces of fish, even 5,000 pieces of juvenile, I will not recommend, for everyone here, I will not recommend you to put 5,000 pieces of fingerlings of about 6 to 7 centimeters in a 50-liter jerry can, especially if the distance is long. That's overcrowding. That's overcrowding. At the point of, arrival, some of them might have died. Some of them might have been stressed. And while you are stalking them, they may not have died. But because at the early stocking stage, any fish that die, you may not notice it and count it as mortality. Your expectation will be high. You will be feeding as if you are still feeding 5,000 pieces of fish. And you'll be recording your feed that you are spending, and you'll be expecting by the time you calculate your FCR, when you do your sampling, you calculate the weight gain from the feed that you have fed, you will now say that the FCR is high. Because when FCR is high, it means that they did not convert the feed well to flesh. But the reason is that there's some feed in the process and the expectation has now been higher. If you get what I'm saying, let me know. If you don't, also let me know. Do you get what I'm saying? During transportation, you should use minimal. Use Don't overstock those jerry cans. Make sure that the water is fresh. If you are doing long distance, at some point you may need to change water, change the water, pour out the water away, sieve it out and put another fresh water. Please don't add water that has bad bad pH or very bad dissolved oxygen, low dissolved oxygen. And one of the things you can do is that, do you know that during transportation you can aerate your jerry cans or the whatever container you use to transport fish? And when you aerate them, you can increase the numbers. Good, good. This is the balance. You see, so it's not a one rule that how many pieces can I put. Somebody can put more than 5,000 depending on the size of the fish, depending on the distance, and depending on whether you are aerating. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? It's very important. It's very important. It's very important. And one mistake people do when they want to stock fish is that before is now I'm entering into operations. Good. So I see a question. So for long distance, how many should we stock in a 50-liter keg? And I just answered the question now. I believe the question was already typed in while I was trying to answer that question. It depends on the size, it depends on the distance, and whether you are aerating your jerry can or not. Because there are aerators you can put. We have rechargeable aerators that we use. You can charge it, put it in your jerry can, and move your fish. And by the time you get to, that's what we want to achieve. By the time you get to your point of arrival, the fish are not even feeling any stress of transport. Wow, that's what you want to achieve. If you can achieve, that's a pass mark in transportation. Not the transportation that when it gets to the point of arrival, the fish are weak. So in a 50-liter keg, let's say you are doing a 3 hours distance. So let me give it real life examples. You are 3 hours. 3 hours. On no account should you do more than 2,000 pieces of an average of 7 to 8 centimeters. I don't do up to that. So I'm just telling you what you should never go beyond. But I am always on the safer side because I know what it takes. So let me tell you what I do. If I want to transport a a fish of 1,000 pieces for a 3 hours journey, I don't put more than 1,000 pieces in it. For a fish of about 7 to 8 centimeters, you may adopt that. You may go beyond that threshold a little bit, but don't go too much. On no account should it be more than 2,000, you may do 1,500 or thereabouts. So what it means is that get enough jerry cans. You see, jerry cans for people like us, it is an asset. We don't need to buy every time, or we don't need to. Let's say some persons even want to buy. As a farmer, you have to. I'm using the word jerry can here. In your own case, it may not be jerry can. It is just that medium, that container you use to transport fish. For some people, it's oxygen bags, and that's even way easier. They have oxygen bags, you can use it. For some persons, there are some kind of bowls that have covers. But in Nigeria, one of the things we use a lot is jerry cans. We call them kegs, jerry cans, and they are perfect for transporting fish seeds for juveniles, fries in some cases, juveniles, fingerlings, post juveniles, jumbo size fish. They are amazing. But it means that when you look at the number you want to transport, look at the distance and the fish. You don't want, because the idea is you don't want to stress them. You don't want oxygen to be depleted in that water. When you look at those things, you now determine, no, we can use 20 jerry cans. It's worth it. Yes, that's what I want to tell you. It's worth it. It's worth it. Even in my residential place, I have many jerry cans that I just need to do something I can easily. So we have it. Every hatchery has. So I told you that 2 weeks ago I was at the archery of Oasis Aquarage. In the store, in the store, there are many that they have there. And the archery supervisor is here who can let me know if you're here. Am I saying the truth? They have many that some of their clients may say, I can't buy and send, please. And they say, yes, just pay for it. We have new ones, clean ones. And when you are dealing with experts, they will treat things very well. What am I talking about? The density is important even in transportation. Not these ones. I don't know if these are the things you will not hear people saying, but these things, the effect that what I'm telling you will make is much. It is not only at the point of arrival. It can affect the fish. It can cause those things we mentioned, permanent damage. Yes, that's the word. It can affect the fish permanently. Yes. And you may not know, especially if you don't understand the language of fish. So I have a question here from Munachi Treasure. She says, what's the purpose of an aerator? And is that also used in the pond at the farm? Also, is it for only fingerlings? Amazing. Aerator is a device or a tool or an equipment. Is not equipment. A device or a tool that we use to increase the dissolved oxygen level in water. So, in pond water, you know that fish lives in water. For us human being, we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Yeah. So now, fish is a living animal too, but fish does not breathe in oxygen like us. They breathe in dissolved oxygen. Oxygen that is dissolved in water. Same oxygen, but because they are in water, they can't breathe in this atmospheric oxygen. They breathe in dissolved oxygen. Aerator is something that aerates the water. It gives more oxygen. That's the work of an aerator. Aerator gives more oxygen to the water. So it makes dissolved oxygen to be more available in the water. If dissolved oxygen is low in the water, your fish will suffocate and they will die. Just like us human beings, a human being does not have access to oxygen, it will suffocate, it will die. oxygen. Without oxygen, that's why when someone is low on oxygen, you see they make sure that they give that person oxygen, maybe in the intensive care unit or in hospitals. They administer oxygen is important, and that's actually done. There are oxygen bags that you can pump in oxygen and use it to transport fish. So aerators can be a device. It can, some of them are as small like this device, some of them are as big, there are many sizes, there are very big ones. And to answer your question also, is it also used in the pond at the farm? Yes, you can use it in your earthen ponds. There are different sizes. The aerators we use in the hatchery, the aerators we use to transport fish, the aerators we use in the incubator section while we are incubating the eggs. Yes, so that we give them more oxygen. There are incubators we use while we are holding broodstock, because at the time of broodstock, when you have injected your broodstock and you are waiting for the latency period, you are waiting for the egg to ripen after injection, there are aerators you use for that broodstock, because that's the period that those females that you have injected need more oxygen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you see, I'm right. That's our actual supervisor. You see, Deborah says, I'm really glad to be part of this family. Amazing. Shaosin says, got it. Got it. I love the interactions and I love how you are getting all that I'm saying. And I don't line on that. So that's what aerator will increase the oxygen in the water, and it's being used on in the ponds too. Yes, it's being used in the ponds. Where you use aerator, the stocking density can be higher. Do you understand? Yes, it can be higher. It can be higher. So yes. I see Olatunde Oluwaseun says, interesting insights. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. Oxygen is important. But how did I get to oxygen? I was talking about stocking density. And I was talking about density during transportation. All right. So that's it. It's just so important. It's very important. And the reason that during transportation, if your oxygen is depleted, okay, I gave that illustration earlier. For us human being, just imagine you are locked in a place that you don't have, you cannot breathe. Let's say they now even they open tear gas, something like a tear gas in that place. That's the condition we give um your fish during transport. So somebody that's exposed to those kind of situation, you see, he may not die, but it may affect his lungs, it may affect his health. But fish are lower animals, they don't have the kind of big organs that we have. So those things, you put somebody in a does not have good oxygen and is now in a situation of like tear gas, it will affect the organs of the fish. That's why it will have, that's what cause permanent damage. Do you get now? Because their organs, and they're even still small, their organs are not big yet. The pressure you put them through, they can't withstand it. But they did not die. That they did not die did not mean that the pressure has not caused permanent damages. Permanent damages that affect their growth, that cause them to grow slowly, that cause them to um affect your money. It affects your money on the long run. You see, some of these permanent damages will not, it will affect how fast your cycle can become. Instead of you to do some kind of, you are doing a fish of about 300 to 50, 350 to 500 grams that you're supposed to achieve in 3 months, max 4 months. Do you know some people achieve, you will see 5 months old fish and they 100 grams, 350 grams, 400 grams. Something went wrong. Some of the places where these things went wrong are the area of transportation, some of them from the archery, some of them while stocking, and I'll get there now. While stocking, some of them after stocking, and I'll soon get there. I'll soon get there. So some people, so let me quickly answer this question so I don't forget. Does palm oil help too when transporting fish? Yes. Yes. What palm oil does is that it's like a stress. There is a word I'm looking for, but what it does is that it helps to maintain a balance in that water. It's like a there's a word I'm looking for. When I remember the word, or anybody that remember the word can put it in the chat, and when I remember it, I'll put it in the official community for us. What it does is it kind of stabilizes the condition of the um, water so that dissolved oxygen will not be depleted. It's helping in a way, but it's not too much. You just need a little. Because I've seen situations where people put palm oil in the water because they want to stabilize that water, and they put too much, and the palm oil ends up using up the oxygen in the water. So just the same way, yes, it's a stress relief. Thank you, Emmanuel. It kinds of help to relieve stress. So you want to transport your fish, you can add palm oil, but just a little drops of palm oil. I've seen people, and in fact, I've seen cases where people add many palm oil and all the fish died. And they were transporting many fish in different containers, and they add many palm oil. And upon arrival, while they were trying to stock, they saw that all the fish dead. You see, so some things may be helpful, but make sure that you are not overdoing anything. All right. So quickly, let me mention about pond preparation, and I don't need to take time on this because this is really not about pond preparation, but well, it is about. So before this one mistake, this one mistake, this one mistake, some people will first go and um get the fish, especially those who operate surface tanks, surface ponds, like tarpaulin ponds, concrete tanks. It's easy for somebody who is operating earthen pond. Most of them, will always prepare pond first, net it, and all of this before the fish come in. But did I know that they can easily prepare pond? Some of them make this mistake, and I've seen it a lot of times. That's why I'm mentioning now. They will first get the fish before the fish will arrive their farm, before they now start preparing the pond. No, wash your ponds before you go and secure your fish, before you transport it. Make sure it is washed, it is prepared. It doesn't take anything. If you decide not to stock again, your washing has not taken so much from you. You have to prepare your pond, and this is for everybody regardless of the culture medium you are doing. Earthen ponds, because even some people don't prepare ponds. And now you know already, because there are hidden things around these things that cause permanent damages. So you should pay attention to everything. You want to make sure that temperature, your fish, because you see the temperature in tropic region will be conducive for the kind of fish we raise here. But if your water level is not, at least your pond should not be less than 3 feet. Your earthen pond, you want to enjoy it, make sure it's up to 4 feet. Thank you for the explanation. You're welcome. I'm glad. Thank you for the feedback. Anti-stress. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Those are the words I was looking for before. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Those are the things that cause permanent damages. The important thing, if you are writing, write this down. What you are preparing for is not the pond. Prepare for the fish. So if you have it at the back of your mind that I'm preparing for the fish. Because some people, they just take everything as some kind of things that we need to checklist. Have you done pump preparation? Yes. Maybe their oga asks them, have you done pump preparation? They say yes. Yes, you have done pump preparation, but you are not preparing pond for preparing sake. You are preparing pond for the fish. So if you have it at the back of your mind that you are preparing for, for the fish, then you will have prepared it beforehand. You would have ensured that the water level would be enough, because your pond depth is not really about how deep it is. It's about how deep it is and how much level the water is. So let's say this is the level of your pond, and you are now calculating we would have calculated water depth from here to here, from here to here. All right, let's say your water level is now here. Then what we calculated to achieve your stocking density is no longer at play, because we calculated with this, and this is where your water level is. Do you get what I'm saying? So every single counts. And even at the point of preparation, before you bring your fish, you must put this thing into consideration. If you use that phrase I just gave you, prepare for the fish, not the pond, it will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. It will help you a lot, because it's when you are preparing for the fish that you will be able to do everything to ensure that there is no predation. Because somebody thinks that preparing pond is just about washing the tanks. No, at that early stage, birds can pick your fingerlings, they can pick your juveniles, and they won't come at the hour they know that they know when fish is in a pond. Fish, they can sense it. They know when there's movement and not, because they are built to survive, and they know when there's a movement of what they can prey on in the water. They know when there's no movement in the water. They know when their prey is available somewhere. They can smell. All right, so they know, but they will not come at the time you are feeding. They will let you feed and go before they come. They will not come at the time there's somebody around who is moving. Okay, so you want to begin to pay more attention to these things. You want to begin to pay your attention to those things in how you prepare your pond. So let me leave pond preparation and quickly move to stocking. I want to begin to round up, so I want to touch the very important things. Good evening to you, to Salimon Favor. I want to begin to touch these things too, because they are important. At the point of stocking, there is something I will not, okay, the term is acclimatization, but the goal is not about you to get the term. We are not interested in grammars, but the things that matter, that will make your fish grow fast and make you get more money. You need to balance the temperature of, you see, the water with which you are bringing, that your fish is in, and the water of your pond must be balanced. If it is not balanced, it can cause temperature shock. It can cause pH shock. You see, all of the water quality parameters, not all, but the important ones are the ones we want to focus on. That's why the ones that I'm mentioning for you here are temperature and pH. There is what we call temperature shock, and there is what we call pH shock. If there is a very sharp fluctuation in pH, all of the fish can die at once. Yes, I'm telling you. And you can research on all of these things I'm telling you. You can research. I'm telling you, you may not want to take it hook, line, and sinker, but hey, take it hook, line, and sinker. Research on all that I'm saying. Make your research. If there is this, meanwhile, in some cases, if the pH shock is not so high, you will not see the fish die. But something has happened within their organ, something has happened within their kidney, something has happened within their liver. These ones you will not see it. Something that has happened within their gills, something has burnt. Hey, these ones you will not see it, but that shock has affected them for life. Somebody say for life. Can you type in the chat box? Say for life. These are these things I mentioned earlier that it can cause permanent damages. It can cause permanent damages. So you want to make sure that your water temperature you are bringing, put your hand inside that container or jerry can, as the case may be. Feel the water temperature. Put your hand inside the pond. Feel the water temperature. See, this thing I'm telling you, we have seen many issues where there are sharp differences. Cold, sometimes you may need to go and to take that fish again, get another water, and wait for a better time of the day. Maybe just in 30 minutes, the water temperature will change. Sometimes it's not sharp, you only need to balance it. Put the Some of you have seen my videos where I demonstrate what I'm telling you. I have videos like that on this channel where I demo. All of you on this call, you should see, listening to all of the things, sessions you are having at PAMP. If you watch all of my videos that I have on this channel, watch all of them, then you are you're already a pro. That's it. Especially when you apply them. I want to challenge you. With all of the things you've heard, take time to watch all of the videos on this channel. That's because you see, because whenever I do all of those things, I don't gatekeep. I don't hold anything back. I don't gatekeep. I open everything up. You know why? Because in fish farming, information must be balanced. If the information is not mislead, it can mislead. You see, that's why we take time to do all of these kind of discussions. You will see that all of the mentors we have been having at PAMP, they take enough time. They will ask you, bombard me with questions. They know what they are doing. It's because these people know that it must be balanced, and they have seen, they have that have the experience. They understand that these things must be, you know, balance. You need to take your time, and that's why I'm saying that. So the temperature must be balanced, the pH must be balanced. But how do you balance the pH? Yes, you can use the pH probe to check. And if you do not pour it immediately, you are balancing this temperature. You are balancing the temperature. You don't even allow the fish to don't pour the fish. You allow it to, you gently release it. You let them swim out of the water itself. You mix the water. Yes. Yes. That's why I diverted and said I have videos on this channel where I demonstrated this. Thank God I'm back there. You should watch it to see how I will put in the water and in the pond. In fact, in that demonstration, it was an eating pond. You have to enter inside the pond. If it's too deep, stay in a shallow place. Feel it. You see, we can be here and we can be here and be wearing, polos and something. When we're on the farm, we are walking. Enter the pond, get inside the pond, get dirty. When your money speak, your money won't speak dirty. Your money is clean money. But enter, get involved. Dip your hand in the jerry can or the container, dip your hand in the pond, feel the temperature. Sometimes you may leave that container on the pond water for a while. There will be a temperature balance. Then you adjust, you mix the water, add it gradually. At some point, you will see that the fish would easily you just gently release it, and the fish will begin to swim out by themselves. You see, I'm taking time to explain this. Is not for any reason, not because I don't have some other important thing to say. I'm laying emphasis because it is important. Because failure to go by the important things, it will cause a permanent damage. 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 I'm seeing the many comments for life. Yes, 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 yes. So And while you are doing all of these things, you have to be observant. The first few fish that enter the water, what is their swimming pattern? So that you can stop. If you see that the if you see that they are swimming erratically, if you see that they are swimming erratically, you may want to stop. Don't put all the other fish. So you see, we call something. I think in one of our sessions it was mentioned bioindicators. I think it was during the case study analysis. Yes, we have something we call bio. Even in the profitable archery session we had, bioindicators. You let it quickly serve as your bioindicator. That fish you see, you use. What you have done is your testing. Now you have a real live fish in that water. You watch it, you observe it. How is this fish swimming? Some of them you see that he's enjoying, he's trying to explore the surrounding, cool, calm, collected. Then that's a sign for you to go ahead. These are the things. These are the things. These are the things. These are the things. See, you see, I've touched the things you should do before you stock, the things you should do before you buy. I've touched the things you should do while transporting them. I've touched the things you should do while preparing the pond. I've touched the things you should do while stocking. So after you have stocking, I've touched that observation is important while you are stocking. After stocking, observation is important too. If I would tell you what the greatest skill any fish farmer can have, it is fish farming. That's the greatest skill of a fish farmer. Yeah, no, well, not the greatest asset, but it's the greatest skill. If you can master observation as a skill, you will be a successful fish farmer. And how do you master it? I told you some things yesterday and on how you thrive on routine, to observe, to look, look and observe and record. They look like simple things. Look, observe, record, repeat. Those are the things. Those are the things. You begin to see, your discernment will begin to sharpen. Yes, the only men of faith, they are carried. How do they get carried? They look. Be looking. When you observe, you don't need somebody to tell you to see things. You don't need prophets because what you don't see by revelation, you see by observation. Yes, you don't need prophets to show you things. Just by observation, you begin to see some things you don't read. If you can even see it by observation, that's a revelation. Yeah, what you don't see, what you don't know on your farm by revelation, you can know by observation. Observation is key in fish farming. Is key, is a key, is a key. With observation, you can open doors to fast growth. You can open doors to close delay. You can close doors to delay harvest. Yes, and with observation, you can open doors to, somebody knows what I want to say, more money, good profits, not just more money, better profits, better profits. So you also want to watch out for mortalities. And when I say you watch out for mortality, it does not mean that mortality, you can't have mortality, because there is a range that is acceptable. What do I mean by that? If there are one or two mortalities on your pond, it is not an issue. So beginners understand this. If there are one or two mortalities, it's not an issue. But when you now see that mortality is up, see this, when do you need to worry? Now this is important, because you can see one mortality today, 2 months later you saw two mortalities, and you are confused. Why are these fish dying? But you stock 10,000 fish. All of the mortality you've had is just about 8 or so or thereabouts. It's not an issue. Don't stress yourself. You have not made any loss. Even if you have made 15, 20, you've had 15, 20 mortalities, you've not made any loss. As long as the fish are growing well and other things. I don't want to be telling you big numbers, so you won't be careless. I don't want you to be careless, so I don't want to tell you big numbers. But when you skip your records and see, you will see that what I'm saying is true. You will still make your profit. But what am I trying to show you? There's a time you need to worry. Even if the mortality is 1, even if the mortality is 1, if it is consistent, you have to worry. That's the point you need to you see, somebody can have 3 mortalities in a day and it's not an issue for them. In fact, somebody can have 5, 6, 8 mortalities in a day and it's not an issue because it could identify what caused the mortality. It's something that going forward he has put structures in place that it will not happen again. Maybe bad water quality, something happened, they didn't change the water in time and then they lost 10 mortalities, they lost 15 mortalities, they lost 20 mortalities. And after that, they change the water, put all other things in, they don't overfeed again, they put all other things into consideration, and they are no longer having issues. That mortality is really not one anybody should worry about. They should worry about the negligence that happened, but you don't need to worry going forward. But you can worry about one mortality that is consistent every day. You have, imagine, let's say you stock 500 pieces of fish, or 500 is small. Let's say you stock 5,000, let's say you stock 10,000 pieces of fish, and one fish is dying every day. One fish die today, tomorrow. After 7 days, you realize that, in fact, before 7 days, if mortality is dying, if you are having one fish dying every day, it won't get to the 7th day before mortality will increase to maybe 2, 3, 4. Let's say at some point you are now having 7 die, 9 die, 18 die, 42 die. You stock 10,000 pieces of fish. Do you know that if you start compounding it, because they are dying every day, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 17 plus 32 plus 42 plus 42 plus 17 plus 16 plus 15, that's a lot. So when do you start worrying about mortality? When it is consistent. When you see consecutiveness. That's the time you need to worry. That's the time you need to worry. You should worry. You should worry. And how can you know, balance this? You balance it by managing your water well. See, and all of these things I'm saying, pay more attention to it. Of course, you should pay attention to it throughout your production cycle. But if you can be so consistent in the first few weeks, it's because, I told you yesterday that there is a window in the session we had on feeding for fast growth and profit. If you had not watched that session, it's still available. Take enough time, sit down with it and watch it. So you will see that I told you that there's a window. That window is where you want to also ensure that there is good water management. You sort, you make sure that it is uniform size, and you are keeping record. All of these things, see, keep your record from day one. Yes, it's part of the things. You see, I've mentioned record a whole number of times today. Keep records. As long as you're observing, keep your records. All the activities, your routines, keep the records. And one of the big mistakes that people do is that they Emmanuel says, observations to revelations. That's it. Observations. What you don't know by revelation, you can know by observation. Yes. So I'm trying to say that one of the biggest mistakes people think about fingerlings when they want to stock is that they look at the price. It's not really about the price. If you buy a fingerlings that is maybe has a higher price and has a better quality, it will make you get more profit on the long run. Because if you come to look at it, look at the difference in price. It may just be a few thousands of naira, but the much more money you will make, much more money and much more profit you will make, maybe in millions. So don't judge by the price of fingerlings, judge by the quality. It's a good thing to try to reduce production, but so if you have a lower price, it's okay, but not at the expense of good quality, not at the expense of the opportunity to put in place all of the things that we have discussed today. Yes. Honestly, successful farmers have a process, and this process is that the stocking process is not only focused on the point where they are introducing their fish into the pond. The successful farmers know that the period and the process of um, stocking my fish involves all of the Okay, I don't know if you got that. I think there was a network glitch. So I will reiterate, I will say what I just said again so that you get it, because I want you to get it. It's actually my final words. And what am I saying? I'm saying that successful farmers understand something, that in the process of stocking is not only the process of introducing fish to the pond, it encompasses the decisions I make before buying my fish, even while buying my fish, while transporting my fish, before stocking, pond preparation and all of that, while stocking, all of the observation and all of that, after stocking, the hours after stocking, the weeks after stocking, I need to pay attention into all of that. Successful farmers understand this. Yes, every farmer who is consistently making profit in their farming business, they know this and they are applying this. So it's not only in knowing, it's about applying. I think this is a good place for me to stop today so that we pull off the curtain. And I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone. And I just really want to encourage you. Your fish farming production, don't leave it to chance. 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 How do you not leave it to chance? All of these things we have discussed today. See, if you get this one right, because the foundation, that's where it begins. The foundation is good fingerlings or good juveniles or good fish seeds. When you get it right, the next thing you need to now manage is good water quality and good feeding. And we already addressed feeding yesterday. I already mentioned yesterday, I gave a 24-hour window that that you can get my ebook at a 20% off. So feeding, good quality fingerlings, good water management, good feeding. Trust me, you don't need any boosters. Because no booster, I told you yesterday that those who are climbing for boosters are, it's only a marketing gimmick. When can we change our water after stocking fingerlings? Okay, I'll just touch on it, but since in the PAMP session, you see, this PAMP Pisces Academy Mentorship Program is a very robust mentorship that will show you everything. So on water management, you see, the men I told you, and you know already that we have very amazing mentors. You see about, there's still a session about water quality management, okay? And even at the physical session, the phase 2 of this session, you will see all of those things live and you will understand them live on site. They are practical, they are hands-on. But when can you change the water after stocking fingerlings? It is two things: the water is bad, when the water is bad, and two, at the point where you don't want to stress the fish, because a fish that you just stock is too small and may not be able to withstand some kind of stress. For somebody using pumps to suck out water from an earthen pond, you may even suck out fish, or pose them to some kind of stress. This can happen in some surface ponds too. So you don't stop, change water too early so not to stress the fish. So there are things we are looking at. So it also means your water should not actually go bad during those period of time. So you want to ensure that you don't overfeed. If you want to understand how to feed optimally, you don't want to underfeed, and you don't want to overfeed, watch yesterday's session again and get my ebook. You will understand all of that. This is a place where I want to thank you so much. This is the time where we appreciate everyone. I want to appreciate everyone who has been on this session today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And as it's our culture, we meet on the official community. Let's begin our conversations. The case study will come today. We'll drop the case studies because the submissions will close on Friday at 5 p.m. And then we'll be having the presentation and defense. And I want to thank every one of you. See you. Enjoy. So we are going into a new week. Have a very fishful week. Have a fishful week. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Peace out. Peace out.